Alright, this is DJ, and we're going to be doing a little Super Strike loading video here for YouTube or whatever. Super Strike is an awesome product. They have a great line of lures, all plastic. Makes it very, very valuable to the surfcaster. It becomes even more valuable when you can load it, which is what this video is about. So we will use number 8 lead shot. I found that steel rusts. Also the size, the small size of the number 8 shot allows for me to get more shot into the cavity of the lure, creating more weight. Very dense when the shot is that small. Plug bag insert, cheapo. I guess most tackle shops have them. I cut it down to size with scissors, make it workable. As you'll see shortly, this is what I use for putting my shot into the little hole. I have a little Sam Adams beer cap and a little stick I use for mixing my epoxy. Epoxy's almost empty. I have to go to Walmart and get more. And a postal scale, which is very important because it allows me very accurate measurements on how much shot to put in each lure. Now when I load the Super Strike needles, I bring them to very desirable weights, whatever I want. A very good weight is somewhere between 2.5, 2.7, 2.8 ounces. That's the most versatile weight, which you can use for casting distance, water penetration, especially when in fast moving water or faster moving water than normal. It works very well. And then of course we have the all reliable drill here with a 1/8 inch drill bit, which we'll use for the holes. Now to get right into this, let's go. I have the 1 3/4 ounce Super Strike needle here. As you can see, this is the transparent yellow, I believe they call it. And what I try to do here is it has basically 2 fillable compartments. One here in the front, and this large one in the back is all one compartment. Now when I'm drilling my holes, I do not want to hit the lead weight, of course. And I do not want to hit the structure, the component that holds the lure together when it's put together and manufactured. So I'm going to put one hole behind the back cross member and one hole into the front cavity. What I would recommend you do is buy either the amber, or root beer it's called, or this one where you can actually see through the needle, and you drill your holes accordingly to it, according to what you see here into your solid colored needles. So I guess we're ready to move along. We'll drill 2 holes, like I said, one into this front chamber here.
Well, can I see? Can I just tilt that towards me and point to where you're going to be doing it here?
The first hole will go in this front chamber, just in front of the front barrel swivel.
Gotcha.
Usually I use a vise in my regular workshop, but this is not my regular workshop, so. I blow out all the excess and I have a nice hole there. Then my second hole will be here in the rear, roughly about 1.25 inches front of the rear of the lure. So again, I'll drill this hole while we're in a drilling mode. Don't drill all the way through to the other side, that's not good. Okay, we'll get the drill out of the way. So we have 2 holes ready for shot. Now the first thing I do on the 1 3/4 is I fill the front compartment all the way. I want that full of shot. This is the way I control my shot without it going all over the place. It probably still will go all over the place, but I'm trying to limit it as much as possible. I'm going to fill the front cavity. See, told you it's going to go all over the place. And let that shot run right into the front cavity. Periodically I'm going to stop and shake it. Shake it down. It's very controlled. Some of the shot do escape, but don't worry about that. Okay? So Once I have that full, what I usually do, not in my shop, I stick a little piece of masking tape over the hole. Now I'm going to work on filling the back chamber. You see this goes in fairly nicely. As I start to fill the chamber, and then I'll weigh it on the scale to see what kind of weight I'm coming up with. I'm at roughly, you can see stop rolling, 2.2. I gotta throw some more shot in here. I want to get it up optimally around 2.7. I like. I also have them loaded up to 3.5, 4 ounces for really bad weather and heavy seas. 2.5, I'm close. So, alright, 2.6, 2.7. Alright, now I have my needlefish is loaded to about where I want it to be. 2.7 is perfect. Alright, so once I have this set, I'm then going to do the epoxy and mix up to 7%. So I'm going to get my epoxy out here. Now, I forgot to mention that I'm doing an article. An article has been written for On the Water magazine. The December issue, 2009, that explains the whole process of loading the Super Strike needle. What to do is mix it and how to fish it. Kind of let the epoxy set up, you know, fairly quickly. I mean, let it set up fairly stiff. I like to use like 5-minute epoxy anyway. I don't like to wait that long. So then I get a little bit gooeyed up here on my stick, my homemade stick. Took me about 3 minutes to carve that thing. So that's probably the toughest part of doing this. Alright, and then we'll get another little load here. You don't want to do too much because you don't want to get all gummied up. You don't want to make a mess here. The fish, if it's messy, the fish don't like it. They won't take it as readily. So you want to be as neat as possible. Presentation is everything. Okay. So what I do is I leave a little hump like that right there, as you see. I'll let it set up a little bit, and then I'll swipe it and wipe it in a minute. I have that epoxy set up, so this is what I do. I take like a little piece of paper or something. I usually use like a little old business card or something, and I swipe this. Swipe that. And swipe that. It's kind of good to do in both directions. And then check it. See, this one is pretty good, but this one I have a hole, so I'm going to put a little more epoxy in it. I want to see that hole now, I don't want to see it later. So I'm check it, lob it back up. I know my epoxy is getting ready to set up pretty quick, so I'm going to give it another swipe. There, that looks nice and clean. As you see, you cannot see the holes. You barely see the holes, but you can see the compartments that are filled with shot. Once I, of course, let it dry, let it sit for half hour or whatever, make sure it hardens up, I will put new hooks on the needlefish, split rings, and you know, usually like a 3/0 VMC. I like single side wash or some kind of dress hook on the rear, like a 4, 5, or 6/0 side wash. On this size needle, I'll probably use a 6/0. And then I dressed up, and it goes in the plug bag. Now, one thing you want to do too, that's very important, is once you have it done with the hooks and it's fully ready to go, weigh it again, take your number, which will be 2.7, 2.8. I think probably with the hooks on, it's going to be around 2.9 by the time this is done. Take a Sharpie, and I rate on the top either 27 or 2.7. That way, in the middle of the night, I'm looking for a heavier needle or something, I pull it out, I see it's 2.7, and I know that's the weight I want. So that's how I figure out the weights, and I keep them under control. Like I said, some of these I'll do up to 3.5 ounces for big water, you know, where I have to get out and get down quick. Storm water works very well. And some I just put a 1/2 ounce or 3/4 of an ounce in, put them up to around 2, 2.25, which also adds gives me a lot more options for using as a lure. And that is the completion of the loading of the Super Strike needle.